and welcome back to the All Right Podcast. Remember, it's not the best podcast, but it's not the worst podcast. It's just an All Right Podcast. Guys, welcome back to another episode. I can't remember what episode this is. I think it's 47 or 48. But anyway, guys, we're back. We're back with another banger and a banger at that. We have a guest here today. But before we introduce the guest, I have with me the co-host, James Bourne. What's up, James?
Hello.
How's it going, man?
Okay.
Yes, and then we have our guest here. Hello, how are you? Caela Murphy. Please tell me I said your name right, please, because I'm dyslexic and I'm so
You did. Don't worry, you did.
He's alone. Yeah, thank God. I was here before when we were waiting for you to join. I was like, James, if I get this girl's name wrong, I'm going to fucking
It's like
snap.
Caela.
It's like Caela. My fucking dyslexia and the fucking anxious, and it's just all together. But before I start, I do want to say thanks very much, because I made a short film a while ago. This Christmas that it hasn't been released yet, but Craig, we have a mutual friend. We all have a mutual friend, Craig Johnson, that you know. And yeah, he asked you, would you write? I don't know what the word he uses. I just use, would you write some music for it? But he uses a fancier word for filmmakers. And would you? What's the word? What's the word he would use?
He said a composition. So compose a compositional piece. I actually didn't know it was you though.
Yeah,
I didn't know
it was me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It never clicked with me.
Yeah, because I was like, James, and I was like, this is the girl, and he was like, oh, is that now? And I was like, yeah, grand. Right, so I asked you on because I'm looking for interesting guests to come on, and Craig, when Craig shared your music video that Craig directed and you wrote as well, and you performed in Gravedigger.
Gravedigger.
And I really enjoyed it. I did like it, and I was like, this girl has like her own style, and her voice is fucking amazing. Like, I know, like, you're probably like, fucking compliments, stop it. But I know we all fucking love compliments. We love them. But
I was saying to Anthony there that I was literally only a few minutes ago. I started listening to them. Your pieces seem to be very like cinematic, like nearly most of them, but they're like telling a story, and it's just really incredible.
Oh, thank you. That I really appreciate that. No, I would like to kind of tell stories from my music, whether it's through instrumental or through the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
Gravedigger is certainly one of them. There's a big story with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Before we get into all the music inside that, we can go through all that, I want to go back to when you first started writing your own music, or even learn how to play an instrument. What age were you when you started to get into music?
Oh, I was 6. I started playing keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
And then I progressed, and I started getting lessons when I was around 11. I taught myself though mostly, and then I started writing songs. I was writing songs since I was about 6, because I had no interest in following the books or following sight reading or anything like that. I was crap at sight reading. So then I started writing songs on the piano. My father told me to write a song for each planet in the solar system. So I had to describe what I thought something would feel like, sound like, what an atmosphere would be. And that's how I got taught into, that music doesn't have to be overcomplicated. It can be simple, as long as you can get that impact of the atmosphere of what you're trying to portray.
Mm-hmm. Jeez, I like that. I like that fucking intro.
Really
I like
good
that
description there.
Yeah, very good. But so for the likes of that, when you start, can you remember the first ever song you ever wrote that you're like, right, I'm not going to look back on and go, right, what the fuck is this?
Oh God. Right. So my one of my teachers used to record me on a little tape recorder, because I used to come in with a new song every week, and one of my new songs I remember was called Zuba. I have no idea, but I created this character in my head that was called Zuba. And he was a man that had to banish his son from the land because he had disobeyed or something like that. And it was a very sad song. And I was only 7, lads.
Yeah.
And I was writing these I was writing these kind of songs. But yeah, no, his first one was called Zuba.
Oh, Zuba.
There you go.
Fair enough. Yeah, so for the likes of that, when you start learning how to play, because I took a deep dive on the Instagram as well, just to get a bit more about you and more information, and we will go to that. But I have some here that you've. I think it was only recently as well. You reached over 1,000 followers on Facebook as well.
Yeah.
You have a lot on your Caela Murphy what was it, music page, is it? That's what it's called. Yeah, thank God I have it written down here.
I just followed it. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
But I also seen that that you get a lot of messages as well from people. You get a lot of messages saying, "Oh, this is a really good song." And when you make a song, an original song, and you put it out there, and you're getting that feedback, what's that kind of feeling? That whole feeling progress through.
It's brilliant. It's such support, like, you know, because as a musician, as any form of artist, you live off other people's support. Without other people's support or compliments, or without them liking it, it's very hard to kind of keep it going. Like, you can keep it going for yourself, but when you put yourself out there like that, your art is such a vulnerable thing that, you know, it means a lot to get support from people. So I would never get tired of someone telling me that they like something that I've done, like something I've written, because it means the world, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you're right with it. I do agree with that. Do you agree? What do you think on that, James?
100%. Like, I hate getting compliments, but I do like hearing when, if I make a sketch or a short video or something like that, I do like hearing when I actually really like what you do or something like that. And it's just kind of, it makes you want to do more, which is the thing of that.
For the likes of me and you, James, will make videos or comedy sketches or stuff like that. But for the likes of you've been making music, and we kind of do have, we are in that kind of circle where it's creativity. We like to be creative. We like to do original stuff as much as we can. But with music, there's so much you can do with it. And the reason I love music is because if you're feeling a certain way in a certain time, you can express it. You get me? And it helps so much if you have a voice for it, you know, if you have a gift for it. And I said this, I had a singer on already onto this podcast, and I said, I swear to God, I'd smother someone for a voice like them. Like, I know it's fucking horrible, but I'd love to be able to sing. The only time I can sing is in the shower, and I think I'm playing to my own fucking concert in my head. Like, that's like me. But
and Anthony likes to sing Christmas songs, so
I love Christmas songs, right? I love Christmas songs, right? It's so amazing. Like, I know
one of the days, Anthony didn't realize that he was still on the phone to me, and he was switching over from his phone to his computer on video chat, and all I heard in the background was jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle bells.
It's just mad, and it was Christmas. It was mad. But no, even though I know for a lot of people, I think for music, man, it doesn't matter if you can sing or not. If you love music, the way it makes you feel, you know, it's the same as for dancers as well. If you're a dancer and you hear a song, they just love, they can feel it. Do you get me? So for the likes of you, when you're writing a song, how do you know when you have a good one?
How do I know when I have a good one? I don't think that ever happens for any musician. Because I write songs arseways, if we're to say it really. Most other people, you know, they would write lyrics, they have an idea and plan, they would sit down and say, right, I'm going to write a song. I don't do that. I come and I write music when I'm feeling, you know, because I know that whatever the hell I produce while I'm feeling, I'm going to respect it, because this is something that means a lot to me, and I don't really need any validation on that, whether I put it out or not. So whether it's a good song or not is purely just how it does. You know, how it does on social media, how people react to it. Like my song Tin Man, people loved that song.
I actually I went back and watched it. Like, I literally went all the way back and watched as much as I could. And when you were talking about just there, where you're saying that when a song makes you feel a certain way, that's the best time to write, basically. And I came across this video, and it was a video, but it was a song called Phone Call, and I really, really liked it. And the reason why is because when you were singing it, it was like you were on the phone. The way it was, the sound was like you were on the phone talking to someone. Now, you also wrote that as saying it's a personal experience. So, would you be all right talking a bit more about that and why you wrote that song?
Yeah, absolutely. So I wrote that song, because it's a story of someone with mental health issues, so perhaps depression, bipolar, you know, anxiety, and how they find it hard to be loved by other people, but sometimes it's hard to love someone when they're going through something that you don't understand, like depression. And so from that, they you know, the person, they try to call someone for help and nobody answers.
Yeah.
At the very, very start, and at the very end, they finally get through, and this person cannot be reached at the moment is purely because they've obviously done something. It's a suicide song.
Yeah. You can.
It's the sad truth. So at the start, there's someone there, they love them. Although somebody loves them, it's just not enough. They can't love themselves. So then the story goes on. And the reason why it sounds like you're on a phone call is because if I was in that place, these were the words that I wanted to say to that person in my life before it was gone.
That's what I really liked about it. You could really, when you listen to it, you were literally just like, Jesus Christ, it sounds like a real phone call. Like, to get me, I did really enjoy it, and I'm kind of going off that one now because I do have a few here that literally I'm not even messing. I have loads of sticky notes, like I prepared for this. You also brought out a song as well called Heaven's Broken Eyes. I think Heaven's Broken Eyes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I fucking love it. It's so good. And please, could you please explain to me, because this podcast is, well, I say this to all the guests as well, this podcast is for me as well and learning new things also. So please tell me what you went through in the process to make that and why you made it.
Right. So they say if you sin, you go to hell. But what about those who sin from pain? There's a lyric in it about a boy in the woods, a young boy. He has to steal in order to survive, to eat, to live. But in God's eyes, would that be considered a sin? And therefore, would he go to hell? But he's living a painful life. He's suffering. So just because you sin from pain, does that not make you worthy of the love of God, of the love of heaven? And I'm not a huge religious person, but this is just what I got from it. It's people that sin from, perhaps drug addiction, abuse, whatever, all these things that happen due to pain that would be seen as a sin in most people's eyes. What would that be if it came to it? Because they're sinning from pain. So does that mean that they are unworthy?
James, answer this, man. You're very spiritual.
That says a lot. That's very powerful. That is. No, that I haven't actually listened to that song yet, but even the way you're describing it there, it's really intense.
Should see the artwork on it.
It's a play on morals, really, and I quite like that. I'm going to listen to that now after this.
I'll just send them a playlist. I'll just fucking link everything. But for like that now, also have a song called "Will You Love Me?" For the likes of that. Can you explain a bit more about that one, please?
Okay, so March last year, I lost my pet of 12 years. That I know it sounds crazy. It was like my best friend. I had him for 12 years.
No, I'd cry over a pet before I cry over a person.
Yeah. Okay, so you were late. I lost him due to he got hit by a car. So my heart was broken. It's the tattoo I have here. It's actually his paw print. Yeah. So
stop.
I was so upset that I decided if I was to go to heaven, would he still love me? Yeah. It's a story that I would say to him. And on the anniversary of the day that it happened, so last month, I sat at his grave and I played the song for him because it means a lot to me. It was a raw, vulnerable song that I put out there.
Come here. I have 2 dogs. I have 2 pugs, and literally, the one I got 2 years ago, her birthday was literally only a few days ago, and I love the dog. And literally, this is how much I love the dog. Right? Watch. Right, excuse me for me arse showing in the podcast, right? But I have to do this to show it. Right? Right, hold on. Right, I can't show it, right? But it's basically, right? I'm not cutting that out, by the way, but I basically have a tattoo of my dog on my leg because I love my dog so much.
Just send her a picture. After.
I'll send a picture because I'm not cutting that out. So if anybody has a problem with that, go fuck yourselves. But and then I have another dog, got a little other pug as well, just so that she wouldn't be lonely. But for the fact that you wrote that song about your dog and stuff like that, it shows that how much that dog did mean to you. That you went out of your way to write a song like that for your own pet, because a lot of people, they do. I'm out of breath. I'm so out of breath from doing that. I shouldn't be. But a lot of people, man, after their dogs do pass away, they go, right, that's sad. Let's bury the dog. Let's go on with it. But I think of my dog fucking, oh man, I'd be in bits for ages. And that'd be the same for you, James, as well, wouldn't it, with Cookie?
The only dog I ever remember passing away or was actually didn't even pass away. It was given away because it's just we were moving around a lot.
Yeah.
So it had to be given away, and that destroyed me. I was heartbroken for about a year or so.
Yeah. It's mad, man. I love dogs. I love animals so much. Anyway, I want to get a bearded dragon. I want I want turtles. Like in my man dad's house, right? Caela. My dad loves animals, right? He literally knocked down, like, he took out chunks of the wall to put in tanks, and he put in tarantulas and lizards and fucking, like, you'd go into the house and you'd be like, the reptile house, this is what this is. It's literally everybody, all the kids would come in, and I could have fucking paid like a fee and said, come in for a fiver or something. I could have done that
Yeah.
to all the kids on the road, but it was deadly, but my ma was literally like, now get them, fuck, they smell. And my dad was like, it's grand, just clean it. But no, ever since I was younger, I love pets, and we have dogs. We had so many dogs. But I do want to go on to the next segment, and this is a new segment, so please excuse me for doing this. Guys, it is quick flicks to the Instagram. So I took a deep dive on your Instagram.
Oh no!
I'm gonna say Instagram because you have two. Yeah, our main one is the Starseed Witch. It's like _Starseed_Witch.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I read the bio, and I had to laugh. Call me love because love is a bitch, James. That's what she said. And then she said, high off my titties, so I am. And I was like, James will find that funny. James will find that one funny. Yeah, but like said that. But I can see that you love taking like, you love photography, and I can see that you've traveled a lot and everything like that as well. Where would be the best place you've ever traveled to? Turkey. I seen that on the wall with the boats. Come here. Any other thing, like any other conversation, if I brought this up in, it'll be like, you'd be like, you creepy bastard, and you wouldn't talk to me. But the fact that I had to go through this like this, it's okay, it's perfect. But yeah, so Turkey. What's Turkey like? Because I've never been. I've only been to Edinburgh, Wales. That's it.
It's amazing. So it's very warm. Obviously, the people are great. They're full of banter.
Mm-hmm.
It's just very raw. Like, you can go to the beach, the water is so warm, you get out, you're dry all of a sudden, you know, everything is just easier. It's very cheap, it's easy to get by, it's, you know, there's a load of hippies hanging out on a hammock, and it's just perfect. Like, you're like, I like it here, I want to stay.
Yeah, sounds like James's paradise.
Yeah, sounds like my home.
Yeah. But I also took a deep dive also on the photography account, saying she remembers. So I did see a few things, and we did already brush on one of them with people that will text you, and they'll text you heartfelt messages. But also, I see that you have a band as well. That you're in a band. Is it called Seven? Is it? It plays.
It's 7-Eleven.
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 Oh yeah, sorry. So is that band still going now during this quarantine? What are you doing to try to keep the band going?
Well, we're after releasing one of our singles. Did you ever really listen to yourself? We are getting a section, I think, in Hot Press. Hopefully. We were aiming to play at Electric Picnic, but you know, all that stuff's cancelled now anyway. Yeah. So hopefully next year we'll be there. We were just done recording in the studio. We're after recording 2 new songs, Hard Drive, and I won't say the other one, is a surprise. Yeah. But they're great crack, and the lads know what they're doing, you know.
And how long is that band going since? Like, when did you just start?
Oh God, well, the lads have been there no longer than me. They've been around for, I'd say, 10, 11 years. Jesus. 13 years, I think it is. Yeah. They've been around for, and so the 2 main guys, Stuart Reid and Mike Fox, they've been there from the start. The new people that have been introduced are the bassist Keane Dalton, myself on keys, Lou Bennett and Adam Cullen Stafford on guitars, and we're like a family, you know?
Yeah. I'd come here, growing up, I'd always loved to want to be in a band. What about you, James?
I think that's kind of one of the things. It's like, I want to be in a band. Yeah. It's just like, you see it in the movies and everything. But I more so like that fact, the fact of like being in a group, more so kind of like a little family kind of feeling to it. It'd be nice.
Yous are all doing the same thing yous love as well. Yous love to do it. Yous love to make music, and yous are all doing it again, and yous are going all on that journey together as well. But I can also see as well when I was on it, that you play guitar, electric guitar. Yeah, there was a video and it was like a big fucking black guitar. And you were going mad on it. But also, you are learning to play the violin. Is that only recently now you're learning to do that?
Yeah. So I've always wanted to have a violin since I was a child. So I finally saved up and I splashed out and I bought myself a new violin. I've been trying to kind of learn it by myself over the quarantine, but I would need to get a couple of lessons just for the start to kind of get grips on what I'm doing. Yeah. So I don't kind of come back and I'm learning it arseways or I'm doing something wrong, but that's my next big step.
You said when you were younger you were playing the piano as well, wasn't it? That was the instrument you were playing, and I did look at a cover. There was a cover of you just playing. It was literally on Instagram, just a few seconds of you playing it. But my girlfriend plays piano as well, and when she plays it, I can just sit there and I literally close my eyes and you can just literally just dream away. It's relax. And the same thing with the violin as well, man. The minute you just hear something like that, it's just like, oh, you can just chill back and relax, and it's
kind of a bit of Mozart. So
yeah. But that's it for these kind of the Instagram stuff and all. So Zoom only lets us record for about 40 minutes or so. So sadly, these are only like half an hour podcasts for now. But I do want to get into the very last segment of this podcast, guys. We're going to get into ghost stories. Ooh, scary. Right, so this is my favorite fucking segment of them all because I'm so interested in this, right? So I have two questions for you, right? And please, like, it's okay if you don't, but if you do, fucking tell me, right? One, do you believe in the afterlife, ghosts, all of that? And two, do you have a story, or do you know anyone that would like told you a story that would be good for this?
Yes and yes.
Yes. Right? Go on.
So I am a spiritualist as it is, but so I believe in reincarnation, but I also believe in an afterlife. So I believe if you die out of rage, so suicide, attack, murder, any form like that, you get stuck in kind of what is a purgatory, which is here in this realm. That's why you say you have to send them back to their higher place. So there's spirits all around us. So any spirits that you encounter that may come into your living room or anything like that, they're kind of in purgatory. They haven't been sent to their higher place. So usually they latch on to other people and they drain your energy. I sound like such a hippie, excuse me.
No, it's all right,
it's okay. I'm all hippie.
A story now that I have of one of them would be one time when I was asleep. I woke up in my bed. And there was this woman there, and she was in the room with me, and she was almost covered in like black gas. And any spirit I've come into encounter with, I've seen about 3, and they've all had the same kind of black gas around them.
Yeah.
And she tried to stab my feet, and I couldn't move in the bed.
Right.
And so I started screaming, and as she suddenly darted her head towards the door because someone was coming in. And when I woke up, it was my mother that was coming in, and she suddenly vanished. She was gone.
Yeah.
So that was very fucked up for me because I know there's the whole sleep.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well.
Paralysis.
It's all right. I'm dyslexic. I can say in English. So you're all right. We're not judging here. We're not judging here. Sorry.
But I know it wasn't that.
Yeah.
Because it was just too coincidental. It just wasn't. I'd never had that before. You know.
And which you said 3 times. So what was the other 2 times that that kind of happened to you? Please, I'm dying to hear this because I fucking love hearing these stories.
So I usually draw pictures of each spirit that I come into encounter with. And the second one, it was I told a woman that I go to for Reiki. She's very spiritual. I showed her the picture, and she said that it was the guardian angel not Gabriel, or Azrael or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he was all in black, and I was crying one night. I was not feeling well in myself, and the door just randomly opened, and I saw nothing. And up in front of me, there was suddenly this gigantic spirit, and he had just piercing silver eyes, and he just stared at me. And I didn't know what to do. I just sat there. I was kind of.
I'll tell you why, John. I'd fucking scream like a woman and run out that room. That's what I would have done.
Yeah. So and he just turned his head, and next thing he was gone.
Yeah.
And that was one of my first encounters with the spirit.
What age was that? What age was that at?
I was 16.
Jesus, 16. When I was 14 or
Oh, man.
15, we had a podcast earlier and we were talking ghost stories, to talk about banshees. When I was 14 or 15, a friend of mine's dad, he told us about banshee, but I never heard of it before. And I was out on the wall with a load of my friends, and I'm not messing, I started crying. I ran into my ma. So at 16 years of age, you handled that pretty well, now I have to say, because I would have screamed. I would have cried. But for the other one, then the last one, what was the other one then? Like the very last one, the third one?
The very last one is not really much of a ghost story. It was more or less someone that came to me.
Mm-hmm.
There was a girl missing. Okay, it's quite a sad story. There was a girl missing from Carrick on Shore, and everyone was looking for her. She was a young girl. Apparently, she'd run away. And I remember I came in one day. I was doing this music thing with a group. And one of the girls in there, quite spiritual herself, and she said, "Oh, I believe she's still alive. I believe she's in a barn or hiding or something." And I said, "No, she's not." And she's like, "Why do you know?" And I said, "Because I had a dream last night." And I had a dream the night before, and I saw exactly where she was. She was in a foresty area by the river, and I didn't know why I had this dream. It really disturbed me. And I said it to her, and I said, "I hope you're right, but I'm after having a horrible dream." And she called me up the next evening at 6:00, and she was crying on the phone. She said, "How did you know?" So whether I was visited during my sleep by the girl or by someone else, but it's always been a creepy thing for me.
Yeah.
People don't believe in a lot of ghost stories or any of this, fairy tale, spiritual stuff. But I think don't be closed-minded. Everyone has that ability.
What about you, James? Do you believe in all that stuff?
I believe in any kind of scenario. Really, it's kind of impossible for it not to be true.
Yeah. My mom, man, she would have dreams, and people would come to her in the dreams and stuff like that. If a friend was having, like the way you would describe that right now, all that was in my head was literally my mom. The way she would have them dreams as well, and they would be freaky. Like she'll say it to us, and then it'll happen. Or if a friend of ours really lost something, or if their relative died but they can't find something, my mom would fucking have a dream about it, and then they'll go to that place and they'd find it. It is creepy, and I do believe it, like I really do. But thanks very much for them stories. I really do enjoy when guests come on and they have stories like that. I fucking love it. It's great.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. So is there anything you'd like me to plug or put down in the description below before we go?
No, it's pretty up to you. It's okay.
Yeah, right, guys. So I might as well. Anyway, I'll put the Instagram down in the description below. Please go follow her. She makes music and stuff like that as well, and it's really fucking good. So hopefully when all this is over and the album's out already, as you said as well. So even if I'll try to link that in the description below somehow as well. Is it on Spotify? Is it out on Spotify?
Only Gravediggers on Spotify.
Only Gravediggers. Well, I'll link anything. I'll give you a text anyway in a bit, and I'll ask you for any links, and please send them, and I'll put them in the description. So guys, thanks so much for watching this episode of the podcast. James, thanks for coming on, being the co-host. Thanks very much for coming on. Guys, we'll chat to you in the next one. But remember, it's not the best podcast, but it's not the worst podcast. It's just an alright podcast.
An alright podcast.
Good man, James. Thanks. So guys, thanks for watching. Peace.